when you think about the last day, it was a bad refereeing decision that gave them the penalty. You would say that the other goal was very fortunate as well. Cork played an awful lot of good football on the day, and for a cornerback to come up and kick a point like that, he'd be extremely happy. And I think the Kerry boys would be delighted they got to draw the last day, because Cork were on top for most of that game.
How do you see this, Colin?
Well, I think it's a mental thing for Cork that they have to overcome. I think the last 5 replays of Munster final, Cork have won 3 of them. The only problem is the 3 of them have been in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and they haven't won here since '87. But a good team should come with confidence here after playing like that the last day. They should come and say, well, if we're good enough to do that to them the first day, now we should be even better this time around and finish the job, which would give them a massive boost going on into the All-Ireland series. So really a lot of it is the Cork approach, but of course Kerry have responded, and they feel that maybe they weren't at their best the last day, and Eamon Fitzmaurice felt that he wasn't at his best on the line, and the wholesale changes that he's made to his back line reflects that.
Yeah, because they've, Colin, sort of been in, I think I saw in the Kerry Man it was described as lockdown mode. They have just shut themselves away. I know they're still training behind closed doors, but you know, they were stung by the reaction at home to the way they played the last day.
Well, there's nowhere in the world that you would get the sort of sentiment towards the team. Like Kerry win the All-Ireland, everybody says, they're okay, they're not great, sort of thing. You know, it could only be in Kerry. And I've been here a few days, and a lot of people are saying, you know, this isn't a great Kerry team, that no matter what Eamon Fitzmaurice does, and of course there's no sentiment with him. Fionn Fitzgerald kicks a fantastic equaliser with the last kick of the match, and the thanks he gets is a place on the bench. So Fitzmaurice has been ruthless. He sort of has really put it up to a lot of lads, made 4 changes and some high-profile casualties.
Desi, do you think that, do Cork need to do something different? There were very clear tactics and players that worked so well for them the last day, and were Kerry caught a little by surprise by some of the things? I
think Kerry were excellent, or Cork were excellent. Like Paul Corrigan had a fabulous 20 minutes until he got the black card. Then Mark Collins took over that role and was excellent as well. But Cork are limited in what they can do in terms of their options. I don't think they have the strength that the Kerry lads would have. And you see Kerry, they look at the game, they analyse it. Eamon Fitzmaurice then makes 4 changes, and all of them changes are to combat the strengths that Cork had. So, like, you would say that Kerry have a bit of a stronger bench, and they know how to, I suppose, they'll use everything they can in their power. And Eamon Fitzmaurice, I think, tactically will have to improve on the last day.
Now, we have been told, by the way, that Owen Cadigan is not starting for Cork here this evening. He's out with a hamstring injury, which is a big blow for Cork. Jamie O'Sullivan is replacing him. Paddy Kelly will start as well. Fintan Gould has been taken out of the Cork starting 15 by Brian Cuthbert. The loss of Owen Cadigan, Colin, is a biggie for Cork.
It is, because he, of course, was well able for Donaghy the last day. Apart from the goal, Kieran Donaghy had minimal impact the last day, and I suppose thanks to Cadigan and help from quite a few others, because you can't handle Donaghy on your own. No sort of man can, because he's such a man mountain. And Cadigan is combative as well. I think in the old days you'd call him a dirty word that you can't sort of say on family television. But that's the type he is, and he would get stuck in. And himself and Michael Shields are very physical. So Jamie O'Sullivan wouldn't be anything like as physical. With Paddy Kelly coming on to midfield?
We've made a few changes, all right, Marty. You know, we're fortunate enough to have a strong squad, and 4 lads get a chance again this evening. But, you know, it's a squad game, and we're always saying that there's 26 fellas tagging off for Kerry this evening. The 21 that play out of the 26 will have a big say in where the result goes then.
Kerry don't normally concede goals, but you've obviously decided to add a bit of strength with Aidan O'Mahony and Paul Murphy coming back into the team.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you concede goals, the blame can be put at the back door, but a lot of the times, you know, it can be down to our defence as a team. And I think in the drawn game, our defence as a team wasn't good enough. So we're hopeful that we can remedy that now for this evening.
I suppose a replay brings different issues, Marty. I suppose not difficult to prepare for it, but different issues. I suppose you know, you can get too caught up in the first day. The game is done, it's finished, and you have to move on and get ready for this game.
And in terms of the preparation, have everything gone well, or have you now got some dramatic news for me?
No, everything has gone fine, to be fair. We've had a good 2 weeks. Obviously, I suppose much the same as Kerry. The first week you're trying to recover from the first game, and this week get our minds really on the job here tonight. So, you know, if I went back again, I wouldn't change the 2 weeks we've had, so I'd be very, very happy with it.
OK, good to hear from both managers.
Thank you very much, Dara, and it is wet and miserable down the sideline this evening, but it's going to be a major factor. But we're looking forward to a great Munster final replay, and as you mentioned in your introduction, joined by Seamus Moynihan and Noel O'Leary. Thanks very much, lads, for joining us, first of all. Noel, first of all, the big news that Owen Cadigan is out and Jamie O'Sullivan is going in full back.
Yeah, Marty, I suppose he's a big loss to Cork today. I was actually taunting him during the week. He tweaked it here in the second half a couple of weeks ago. There, 10 minutes in the second half. So he feel all right with the last couple of weeks, and unfortunately he can't tug out today. But sorry, he has tugged out, but I don't think he'll feature. But massive loss to Cork. Great leader, and will be a big loss to him.
Kind of changes the complexion, Seamus Moynihan, doesn't it? The fact that Owen Cadigan did so well on Kieran Donaghy, it means Cork have to put Jamie Sullivan. It kind of changes the circumstances.
Absolutely, Marty. Owen had a fantastic game in 2 weeks ago, and beat over the 70 minutes. Had a fantastic game over Kieran Donaghy, and any high ball went in, he dealt with it very well, and came up the field as well and uncontested as well several times. So as knows that he's a leader in the Cork team as well, and he'll be a huge loss. But I suppose the plus side of that is Paddy Kelly's after coming into the team, and for me, 2 weeks ago, I thought Paddy Kelly played fantastically well for Cork, got on a low of the ball and got great ball into the inside line as well. So I suppose that's a positive for Cork.
Let me ask you about the Kerry changes, because obviously no team likes to concede goals, but for Kerry to concede goals, it is a bit of a surprise. What do you make of the changes of Aidan O'Mahony coming in at full back, Paul Murphy wing back, Anthony Marr midfield, and Paul Deeney up front?
Yeah, I suppose Eamon Fitzmaurice isn't shy from making changes, and he his mantra from word go is he's looking at form inside and training, and in fairness, Kerry are very lucky to be here tonight, Marty. All the Kerry fans and the Kerry players are very lucky. We were very lucky to get back, and we just need up the performance. We weren't good enough the last day. Cork were the sharper, fitter, faster team 2 weeks ago, and Kerry have to up the ante. Anthony Maher coming back in midfield. He's a very good defensive midfielder. He stays back. He certainly will help the defence. Aidan Mann, he rarely has a bad game against Cork, and Paul Murphy has come in again. Paul had a fantastic year last year too. But look, Aidan, or as I said, Eamon Fitzmaurice has made the changes, and hopefully they'll work. But it'll be a really, really hard. The conditions out here now, Marty, are horrible. It's not a night for football, but it's going to be a totally different game of football tonight.
And Nola Leary, let's talk strategically, because with the loss of Owen Cadigan in particular, and allowing for Paddy Kelly coming into the team, will Cork adopt a sweeper approach? What will be the mindset of Brian Cuthbert?
I suppose, Marty, looking at the game the last, I thought Paul Kerrigan's role worked particularly well. He went back deep into Finns there and was an outlet for the boys back behind. I could possibly see him doing the same thing here. The one thing about Killarney, I suppose, compared to the likes of Páirc Uí Chaoimh or Croke Park, is to me it feels that slight bit tighter. So Kerrigan's role could work very well there for Cork today. So I don't see him changing that side of things.
Well, Nola Leary, Seamus Moynihan, thank you both for joining us. A little bit of history. A Corkman, Nola Leary, holding an umbrella for a Kerry band live on television. Yeah, will be the last time, I'm sure. And not a jacket between the three of us as well. Anyway, we look forward to a great Munster final replay. In the meantime, it's back up to Dara.
Dara, and for this fourth Munster final in the current millennium, defending champions Kerry will have Brendan Keeley in goal once again. It's his 25th championship match. The full backline shows two men with 145 championship appearances between them. The vastly experienced Mark O'Shea there alongside Aidan O'Mahony. The half-back line sees Killian Young moving into the centre this time, with the recalled Paul Murphy now over his injury problems. Anthony Marr is the third of Kerry's changes for this match. He's paired with David Moran, and they're of course in midfield. Again, there's a little restructuring at half forward. Johnny Buckley now moves to the wing, with Brian Sheehan chosen at number 11 alongside Donncha Walsh. And it's the All-Ireland final full forward line, with Paul Gainey getting in this time, along with Kieran Donaghy and James O'Donoghue. Well, the rivals from Cork, they start with goalkeeper Ken O'Halloran between the posts, playing in his fourth Munster final match. The first of the Cork changes you've been hearing about there sees Jamie O'Sullivan replace Owen Cadigan, and he'll be flanked by Michael Shields, who's playing his 49th championship match alongside James Loughrey. Goalscorer Barry O'Driscoll wears the number 5 jersey in a busy half-back selection, which also features namesake Brian O'Driscoll and Stephen Cronin. Man of the match 2 weeks ago, Alan O'Connor lines up in midfield and is alongside the second change, Pa Kelly, who may again play a deep-lying role. Paul Kerrigan, who was black-carded here in the first match, returns, while Donncha O'Connor and Kevin O'Driscoll will be expected to contribute the usual wholehearted effort. While up front, Colm O'Neill and Brian Hurley will again be the main attacking outlets, with Mark Collins once again operating more defensively. Well, the pressure hasn't eased for the respective managers, that's for certain. Brian Cuthbert of Cork and Eamon Fitzmaurice, of course, in charge of the reigning Munster and All-Ireland champions. Dara, we're all set for Saturday night football. Coming to is Kevin O'Driscoll. 2 points in the last match. Back in here as far as Mark Collins. Good holding. And then Donald O'Connor is fouled. Second free conceded by, of course, in Porky-Reen. So an early chance for Cork to go in front, and it's availed of. Colm O'Neill putting it over the bar from massive Kerry support here. Full house in Killarney, touched in eventually there by James Lockery. Out for a line ball, taken very quickly. In here as far as Donncha Walsh. Kicking it with his left and kicking it accurately and putting it over the bar.
Beautifully taken score that time, got on his left foot, just he rounded the defender far too easily, it must be said, but a very well taken score from a difficult angle. What a
huge one down, fisted away by Shields. Plenty of Cork players there. Remember, Kerry have the breeze for the opening 35 minutes. They were here at about 5:15, warming up and getting prepared for this, and eventually a foul is committed, and it's going to be a free in and a chance for Kerry to take the lead, and a melee developing immediately.
Yes, I say this was forecast beforehand, and probably there was a late tackle, it must be said, by Alan O'Connor and James O'Donoghue, but that's senseless behaviour out there on a night like this. Maybe, okay, the tension is quite high because of maybe all the talk after the drawn game, but this is ridiculous.
Well, the referee is going to need his linesman here now. A lot of pressure on Maurice Deegan here tonight, so maybe they're just getting rid of some of the tension early on there. Fingers being pointed this way and that by some of the players. This is how it happened. The free kick had just been awarded, and then
one in, all in, Ger, is the old mantra. Everybody get in, there's less likelihood of anybody getting into trouble.
Yeah, well, the referee now has to make some decisions. Does he give cards? Who does he give the card to? Does anybody see who actually started it? From the pictures there, everybody got involved.
Well, I think the person actually maybe who was involved in a little bit beforehand, nothing dirty it must be said, was Alan O'Connor. He and James Donoghue collided, but in that particular thing we have seen maybe